Hello, welcome to another episode of Dulcimerica. My name is Futch. It's such a beautiful day out, I figured I'd come out here, sit on the deck, play with the kittens, and talk to you about rhythm and the right hand. You know, there's a saying in popular music circles that your band is only as good as your drummer. And that's true, you know. You can have the best lead vocalist, the best lead guitarist and rhythm guitarist, an awesome horn section. But all of that means next to nothing if your drummer can't keep time, if he speeds up, slows down, if there's inconsistencies in tempo. So it's kind of like building your house on quicksand. When you're playing mountain dulcimer, your right hand is basically your drummer, your percussion section. And what happens with the right hand is most important for building everything else to follow, your chords, your melodies, all those things you're working hard on. It all starts right here. So I want to give you a very simple and easy exercise that you can use to work on consistency and also work on developing a nice easy right hand so you don't have to think about it so much. It really should be like breathing. Your rhythm should just simply flow, and then you can concentrate more on what the left hand is doing. So let's take a look at this. The first thing, the most important thing, is holding your pick. You should never hold your pick too tightly. If you hold it real tight, what happens is all the muscles here in your hand and in your arm, they all tighten up. Try this. Hold your pick out in front of you and just grip it like you're never ever going to drop it. Now I want you to feel what's going on here, right there. You feel those muscles all nice and tensed? Now relax your grip on the pick slowly, and you can feel how everything just loosens up in here. So you want to have a nice loose and relaxed grip on the pick, and that'll give you the ability to play nice, loose and relaxed with your arm. Where to strum? A lot of people have different ideas about this, and even though this area right here is called the strum hollow, many dulcimer players prefer to play just above the strum hollow, right in the area about where your lower sound holes are located. We call this the sweet spot. If you strum in that area and compare that with strums getting closer to the bridge, you can hear how that sound gets more brittle as you get closer to the bridge. So the sound is sweeter right about the area where your lower sound holes are at, and it may be different on your instrument. Give it a try. Now you may scratch up your fretboard strumming there, but I always say a scratched up dulcimer is a loved dulcimer. So what you want to do basically is you want to grip that pick nice and light, center yourself in the sweet spot. Also very important overall to get your dulcimer sort of away from you at an angle. You'll see how this one's got an angle to it instead of going direct across like this. And that has a lot to do with your hand placement and also keeps the dulcimer from flipping around because the upper bound of the instrument is over your knee. The seatbelt helps, of course. But once it's away from you like this, not only is your left hand positioning more natural, but also you'll be able to get into the upper octaves with your left hand. But your right hand strumming is going to fit right about where the sweet spot is. So you want to have a nice, loose, relaxed grip on your pick, and try not to use a whole bunch of back and forth motion with your wrist. The pick will go back and forth by itself if you grip it nice and loose. So just kind of move your arm back and forth nice and even like that. And then get down into the strings. Now here's the cadence. The cadence is going to be built up of 4 quarter notes, 8 eighth notes, and 16 16th notes. We're going to break down each quarter note. Each one goes to 2 eighth notes, and then every 2 eighth notes break into 2 16th notes. So the cadence is going to go through 4, a measure of 4 notes, a measure of quarter notes, a measure of eighth notes, and a measure of 16th notes. The tempo will be nice and steady, but you will move your hand faster, obviously, for the 8th notes and the 16th notes. The cadence goes like this. Now notice that I'm going outwards. I'm strumming outwards on those quarter notes. And that's literally, figuratively, the rule. When you're playing quarter notes, always strum outwards. But when you are playing eighth notes and rhythm notes, rhythm beats that are smaller, you want to use that return trip to get those additional notes, and that's going to help you play quicker without burning yourself out. If you've ever tried to play eighth notes or 16th notes going out, you can see it can be very, very difficult. In fact, the arm really wants to bear down. We always want to bear down to go quicker. The problem with that is bearing down tightens up the muscles and you actually go slower. So you have to have a nice relaxed strum. But we're going to use the return trip on the 8th notes and the 16th notes. So we count quarter notes as 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll use our return trips. And to mark those return trips, we call and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So basically you're strumming out on the numbers, you're coming back in with your strum on the ands. Then into our 16th notes, we would speak that out as 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. Kind of a nonsensical way of saying it, but you already have your ands from the 8th notes, 1 and 2 and. For the additional two 16th notes, we add E and a. They're similar to and, but not really, so every single note has its own phonetic spelling. 1 E and a, 2 E and a. 1 E and a, 2 E and a. Doesn't matter if you start with an out strum or an in strum, so if you're primarily an in strummer, I don't think there's a problem with that. Just make sure you in strum on your ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, on your numbers, and then make sure you go the opposite direction for your ands, and then for your E's and U's and ands on your 16th notes. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Ideally, you want to work with a metronome, probably something nice and slow, like 69 beats per minute, so that you can practice developing patience and waiting to play those beats as they go along. So 69 beats per minute or so on your metronome, going along with 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. And just keep doing this over and over again. Make it a daily part of your exercise routine when you're working on new music or techniques. Is spend a little time with your metronome. About 50% of your time should be spent with the metronome, and the other 50% just go from your inner clock, because you're going to have to trust that. Some people do have a little metronome click that they wear in their ear when they're playing. Drummers in Nashville do this a lot. They set the click for the tempo the song is supposed to be at. That clicks in their ear and they play along with it. That can be very distracting for some people, so it's important for you to develop your own very nice and consistent inner meter. And you can do that by working with a metronome every single day. If you don't have a metronome physically, you can literally go to, I kid you not, metronomeonline.com. And there's a big giant metronome that you can type in your preferred beats per minute, BPMs, and then practice along with that. But everybody really should have a metronome to help them work on that tempo, so you can have the best drummer you possibly can. Until next time, this is Bing Futch. Thank you for watching.